Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Wayne Adams speaking to you from Raceway Park at 130th and Ashland Avenue in Blue Island, Illinois, the track that's owned and operated by Pete Jenin, who has been the promoter here at Raceway for the past 42 years. And tonight, Raceway Park is celebrating its 50th anniversary. The track was built in 1938 and had 50 years of racing, and tonight is the night that all the old-timers are going to get together. And we would like for you to meet right now, not an old-timer, but a newcomer to automobile racing. This young man, only 3 years in racing, and currently is leading the point standings here at Raceway and has won 18 feature races so far this year. This is Mike White of Dalton. Mike?
Hi.
Mike, give us a little bit of information about how you got started in the racing business.
Well, when I was a kid, my dad bought me what they call a quarter midget, and we ran quite a few different tracks just learning how to race. And then I used to come here when I quit racing them and watch the stock cars, and I kind of liked the stock car racing, so me and my brother-in-law got some money together, and we bought the first one, and now here we are with this Dylan car, and everything's perfect.
Mike, your first year was 3 years ago. You won 3 feature races that first year and finished second in points behind Mike Pockris. What were your feelings that first year?
Well, the first year I came out here not knowing what to expect. I didn't even know if I could drive the race car around the track. And then, you know, once you win a couple, like you just say I won 3, you know, it makes you want to come out and win more. So then you go and buy better equipment. And last year we had a successful year, won 17 or 16, something like that. And we have the same car, and you know, it's fun to win.
Mike, you had a very disappointing season last year. In spite of 17 feature wins, you finished second in points and lost that championship by 5 points. What were your feelings then?
Well, I was pretty disappointed about that, but then again, I look at that year and winning that many races. A lot of guys wish they could win that many races, and, you know, and be happy to finish second. So, you know, I feel fortunate to be able to do what I did last year.
And this year you've won 18 features already, and you finished first or second in every race you ran this year. Now what's your feeling?
Well, that's, you know, we did our work, and like I said, the last 2 years we felt fortunate to do what we did. We learned a whole lot, and the more you learn, the better you can run, and it's just a lot of hard work.
Mike, it looks to me like you're a shoo-in for the championship here in 1988, and we certainly wish you a lot of luck in the future.
Thanks, Wayne.
Mike White, ladies and gentlemen, Dalton, Illinois, the champion driver here at Raceway Park so far in 1988. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to another of the top drivers here at Raceway Park. This is Jim Johnson, who was the champion racer in the late model division last year. 1987, he won the title. This year, Jim Johnson has won 7 feature races. He's second place in point standings. He's giving Mike White a battle. Jim, how did you first get started in this business of racing?
Well, Wayne, I started coming out here when I was probably in 2nd or 3rd grade, and was coming to the races for quite a while, and then I started working in an auto parts store in Harvey where quite a few of the racers came in and bought things from us, and I got to know a few of them and started hanging around with them and coming out here and started working on a few cars. And when I was about 17 or 18 years old, I put together a hobby stock and ran that for a few years.
And then you disappeared for a while. What made you come back?
Oh, I always wanted to. I just couldn't afford to. I missed it, come out to the racetrack, and you really miss it. And I just got an opportunity to put together a car again and came back out.
You had a great year last year, Jim, and you were well down in point standings at the middle part of the season, and you made quite a comeback to win the championship. What do you remember about that?
Well, last year was pretty hectic. I mean, we were down by, I don't know, probably almost 800 points when we first came out late, and we caught them little by little. And then with a few weeks to go in the season, we took the lead. On the last day of the season, we lost the lead, and we ended up winning by 5 points. It was a pretty hectic season.
You know, we want to tell the fans that might be watching that 5 points here is $5. You just made $5 more last year than Mike White. A little $5 bill was the difference in the championship.
98.05 to 9800.
You'll never forget those figures. Well, what do you think this year, Jim? Your chances look a little slim right now. You're further behind than you were last year.
Oh, Mike White's got a really big lead this year, and I don't know, we're just going to keep plugging away and see what happens. You never know. You never can tell. he's gonna be hard to catch, but we're trying to win as many features as we can and see what happens.
We'll be watching you out there tonight in that special 50-lap feature race.
Okay, thanks, Wayne.
Thank you, Jim. That was Jim Johnson of Oak Forest, who's the second-ranking driver here at Raceway Park this year. And now I'd like to introduce to you a man that has a lot of responsibility here at Raceway Park. He is the director of competition, the director of racing, so to speak. He is the man that controls the pit area, enforces the rules, and gets these drivers to do what they're supposed to do and to keep them straight in every way he possibly can. This is Pete Uko. Pete, welcome to our Continental Cablevision.
Thank you, Wayne. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pete, tell us a little bit about the divisions that are running here at Raceway Park. We have several divisions. You tell us about them, will you?
Well, first off, we have our limited late model division. It's restricted motors and one type of tire. It's designed to get the racing enthusiast out here on a limited budget. Then we have our hobby stock division, which is about one step down. They're like our grade school for the late model division. They run bars in their doors and roll cages, a little bit of bracing for the radiators, stuff like that to give them a little protection. Then we have the mini stock division, which is 102-inch wheelbase and less. It's a 4-cylinder division, and it's sort of a stepping stone to get the guys going, and it's also a limited budget operation. Then we have the spectator division, which is purely a stock division. It's like the kindergarten to racing. We hope that it gets us graduates into the other divisions and keeps Raceway Park on an even keel.
Let me ask you something about that spectator division, Pete. Recently, we've started the Friday night specials here featuring the strictly stock spectator cars. Can you give us a little insight on that?
Well, it started out rather slow, but the enthusiasm is great. The purse is spectacular for it, and all the feedback out of the pit area has been nothing but great. I look by the end of maybe August or so, we should have 50 or 60 or 70 cars every Friday night. Should be a great show, and it's a great start for a young man to get started in racing.
These spectator shows remind me of racing many years ago, back when you were driving.
Yeah, I remember back early 70s, we'd put a car together for 50 or 60 bucks and come out here and have a whale of a time. That's what we're trying to do with this division, to get everybody interested on a low buck and really have some fun and make a few bucks on top of it.
And we want to remind all the fans that we're racing here at Raceway Park every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, all the way through September. Thank you very much, Pete.
Thank you, Wayne.
works one more time.
If I were to come out of the 10th Ward with
This is pandemonium down here with all these old-timers. Many of them didn't see one another while they were sitting in the stands. And you ought to hear some of the stories that are floating around down here at the present time. First things first, we'll get Mike White out here. Mike White. Come here, Mike. There's Emil Andries. How you doing, Emil?
Fine, Wayne.
Pete's looking for you. Pete, holy cow, look at Pete Jenin.
Put your hand in his pocket.
Where's Bob Zach?
Who are you looking for?
Bob Zach, he's going to present you the trophy. Here's the winner. There he is. Mike, we'll just let you say a few words here. Tell us about that race. That was one of the wild ones of the year.
Yeah, that was probably one of the toughest races that I've driven. Poor Joe. Poor Joe had his motor let go. I was just watching and I seen the smoke and just tried to miss everything, which a couple guys did, and so I got a little bit lucky there. But the car ran super. You know, I have a lot of people I got to thank. You know, SRC and Burnham and my pit crew, and you know, everybody helps me out because everybody does such a good job to get the car running the way it is. So I'm happy.
Have you met Brian Tucker down here among the old-timers yet?
No, I haven't.
Well, you just passed Brian Tucker in the all-time feature win list. You have 39 wins now. Brian Tucker only had 38.
Well, like I say, you got to give credit where credit's due. And Stosh Coleman Jr. and Stosh Coleman, my crew chief Frank Dana, all them guys, teaching. Stosh teaches us, and his kid teaches us, and we just try to pick up on it all and do the best job we can.
Mike, we're going to get around to some of these old-timers now, but in the meantime, here's a fella, Bob Zach from Zach's Auto Rebuilders in Blue Island, and he wants you to have a trophy, and this is the first trophy of its kind, the Black Gold Trophy.
Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
Excellent race.
Thank you.
Pete, what do you have to say? This is Pete Jenin, the owner and promoter. Boy, looks like you're going to a party tonight.
No, I just got a divorce.
You just got a divorce.
No way. What can I say? I'm surprised at a lot of this stuff myself.
You are?
Oh, yes, they kept everything from me. All they done was told me I have to get dressed up, and I haven't been dressed up in 30 years.
Well, it's a beautiful night. I'm sure glad that all the old-timers are able to get out here. This is the mayor of Calumet Park, I believe. Mr. Romanowski, step over here, please. And Mike, don't go away. I think the mayor has something for you. Get over here.
Mike, on behalf of myself and the Village of Calumet Park, congratulations on your 50-lap feature win.
Thank you. The mayor of Calumet Park presenting the trophy. Pete, would you like to get in here? Come on. Get in there.
Okay, and I'm going to announce the vote.
All right.
Shake my hand, Peter.
Hey, we got them shaking hands down here.
For a change.
All right, you want to take over here and say something now?
Let me get this back.
Let's get the mayor here again.
Peter! Get him over there. Stay on that, Pete. And it is my pleasure being here this evening to help Pete celebrate his 50th anniversary, and we thought it'd only be appropriate to present him with this plaque, which reads, "Congratulations to Pete Jenin and Raceway Park on your 50th anniversary. Thank you for your 2,409 race nights and the many contributions and support you have given to the civic groups and the Village of Calumet Park. May the years ahead be filled with continued success and happiness." Pete, that's signed by the mayor, the board, and the village clerk. Congratulations, Pete. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You want to be introduced, or? All right? Go ahead. Why don't you let me introduce some of the village officials with us tonight. We have our village clerk, Ginger Galvin. our trustees Buster Porch, Mike Schmidt, Bob Gregg, Frank Snow, and our honorary lifetime fire chief Joe Mandio. Also Phil Lasky, our trustee. Thank you, Wayne.
Very good, Mayor, and thank you. Now, I know one thing that we want to do. We want to get a group picture of all of these fellows down here. But in the meantime, I would like you to say hello to some of the drivers that drove here 50 years ago. I would like you to meet, well, we'll get Cowboy O'Rourke since he's first in line. Great Cowboy O'Rourke. He was one of the most colorful midget drivers of all time. He ran here at Raceway 50 years ago. Cowboy, tell us a little bit about it.
Let's make that 56 years ago. How about that? That's
Raceway
right.
wasn't here then.
Well, we were still here. I was here with this gentleman alongside of me. He'll tell you about it.
We were on the grader together.
I'll tell you what, these fellows were racing long before Raceway Park was built. But they were here when it started. Here's another one, Emil Andres. Emil Andres. He raced at Raceway. After that, you saw him at the Indianapolis Speedway. How many times, Emil?
Started 10 races at the Speedway. Incidentally, 50 years ago this month, I was one of the laborers that helped build this track, put the plumbing in it and really got the layout of the track. Our dear old friend, Mr. Worthington, and Doc Ramish were the money men.
Yeah.
And boy, I'll tell you, they were great people.
Yeah, they had some piles of dirt out here that they were making a racetrack, and I think Emil Andres had his picture standing on one of the piles of dirt. He was a great race driver even in those days, but he had to work to make a living.
Well, they needed a little help to get this track finished, and I was really interested because I knew someday it'd really turn out to be a terrific operation like it is today.
Another fellow that was here 50 years ago, Frank Buraney, who came down from Milwaukee. He was one of the great midget drivers. Frank Buraney. I remember Frank Buraney. He went down the back straightaway here one night, went end over end. They had an old wooden fence around this racetrack back in those years. He hit the fence and knocked the whole damn thing down. It was about 100 feet long. He took it all out, and we found him sitting in the weeds out there about 50 feet off the track.
It sure was an experience, I'll tell you that. All the rabbits left.
Now, Kenny York is another driver that was here back before the war. Okay.